All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, Turki Al-Sheikh apparently fires Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson as he puts out a big warning about what he ain't paying for no more. And I'm telling you that this statement by Turki Al-Sheikh proves that I was right, despite all the yap that I heard when I said it was Turki Al-Sheikh that put a bunch of stipulations on Devin Haney and Haney-Lopez for a fight if they were going to have it, and they didn't want the stipulations. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, it is going to be a case of I told you so. As Turki Al-Sheikh comes out right after having announced the Canelo Alvarez-Terence Crawford fight with new rules for what needs to take place in order for him to pay for a fighter to fight on a rehab card. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for your continued support. It really makes a huge difference to the channel. So yeah, let me commence with my I told you so. About a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, there was talks of a Devin Haney and Haney-Lopez fight. About 2 weeks ago, the result of this conversation was that the fight broke apart. Now, Haney-Lopez gave a reason for why he didn't accept the fight. And he said Devin Haney's just going to be running around all fight, right? Devin Haney said Tio didn't want the fight. Now, what did I say? I said that the reason that fight didn't take place is Turki Al-Sheikh and certain requirements that Turki Al-Sheikh is putting on Devin Haney and Haney-Lopez for a fight. And guess what? Turki Al-Sheikh came out and said exactly that. Now, before I get into the details, I think I've already done this, so let me just do this really quick. Lost train of thought. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you to everybody that supports the channel. When I said that Haney-Lopez and Devin Haney fight fell apart because of Devin Haney, I maintain that I was telling you what the actual facts are. My understanding is that Turki Al-Sheikh wants fighters under the rehab season to agree to a certain amount of activity per round, that he did not want Devin Haney to get in the ring with Haney-Lopez and for Devin Haney to run around the ring, run around the ring, run around the ring. And as a result of that, I was called a liar and said Fanon is making this stuff up, doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. Well, when Turki Al-Sheikh comes out and says expressly that we are no longer going to have fighters on rehab cards and have what he called Tom and Jerry fights, where one guy runs around the ring and the other guy runs around the ring chasing him. He said, we are not going to have any more of that on rehab cards. Now, I ask you, who could he possibly be talking about? Who could he possibly be talking about? I think the answer is very obvious. It's the fighters that stunk up the gym on the card that he had that was such an embarrassment, the Fatal Fury card that had Ryan Garcia fighting Rolly Romero. We know we're not talking about that fight because that fight was actually a good fight that the favorite lost in. Haney-Lopez versus Arnold Barboza. Very high likelihood that he's talking about Haney-Lopez and the way Haney-Lopez fought in that fight. But more than anybody, it's going to be Devin Haney and the way that Devin Haney fought Jose Ramirez and refused to engage at all in that fight. That Turki Al-Sheikh was embarrassed by that fight and does not want Devin Haney to put on another performance like that to skip through past another payday. And they want to actually codify it or put it in the rules of the fight as far as them getting incentives and having their pay basically be incentivized by the amount of action that is in a fight. Something that is going to be very, 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 very hard to administer. That's a rule that is going to be very, very tough, because when people get into fights, they have to fight the fight that's presented to them. They're not, if they feel like they have to fight from the outside to successfully beat somebody, that's what they're going to do. The only way that you can actually force them to do anything is if you have their purse being heavily incentivized with the number of punches that they throw per round. That is a terrible mathematics for boxing, and it's going to make for a very, very ugly fights. Really, I'm telling you, it's going to make for ugly fights. And you're going to have a lot of gamesmanship in fights. You're going to see a lot of pity-pat punching. Even if they throw combinations, there'll be pity-pat combinations just so they can keep their action up. Just honestly, man, it's a rule that is not very well thought of, but I knew that this is what they were going to try to do as soon as you heard that guy, the guy Showbiz, the adult, say something about it immediately after the fight, because you know that guy is 100% bought and paid for by DAZN. So you know once he or Ak and Barack start saying things, you know where that information is coming from and where those guys are trying to direct it. Let's also recall that Black American fighters are often the people that are referred to as the Tom and Jerry fighters. People complained about Floyd Mayweather Jr. in his non-action. They complain, and even though I don't even see how they could say that about him, but they still say that about him. They say that about Devin Haney. They said that about Pernell Whitaker. All of those type of fighters, the slick fighters, the southpaw fighters, the pot-shotting fighters, all of those guys are going to have to readjust how they actually fight in the ring, and they may be forced to fight in a way that's not natural to them. I don't believe it's natural for Devin to want to engage with somebody. But if Devin wants to engage and they force these guys to do this stuff, I'm telling you, you're going to see a lot of guys that you thought were good getting knocked out. You're also going to see guys whose careers are going to get shortened considerably, because when you force people to have a ton of action in one fight, again, the body can only take so much punishment. So if you can get that punishment over five fights, you can get that punishment in one fight. You can get that punishment over the series of 20 fights if you're not fighting nobody. The ramifications of this stuff, to me, is just amazingly, amazingly interesting. However, though, I want to go in again and tell you that's what I said. They're not going to support Black American fighters that fight like that. No way. Devin Haney better go on over to, well, I don't know if he can go to the PBC, but go somewhere where you can, if you win the fight, you know you're guaranteed to get more fights. But that paycheck, that gravy train of Turki Al-Sheikh, no, man, that's about to come to an end. And the people that stay on it are more than likely going to start having some very, very brutal fights, especially when they're trying to push on you a certain punch output per round. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.